on the crump.
On November 22nd, 1958, with Carson deep into the research for her book, Maria, now 89,
I want to watch the news, see what happened with the
when she died on the morning of December 1st,
killings and stuff.
Rachel was at her bedside, holding her hand.
Yeah.
More than anyone else I know, she embodied a reverence for life,
Killings.
Carson told a friend. And she could fight fiercely
Those poor
against
people.
anything she believed wrong, as in our present
Renee Nicole Good. Fuck. That looks pretty.
Yeah, really. So sad.
He was killed during the October 7th Hamas-led attack, and his body was among the first to be taken into Gaza. Speaking to lawmakers, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin
So because they're trigger happy, that's what it is. It's like they just want to kill.
Yeah.
They're like, here's my chance to kill somebody I always wanted to shoot some fucker. I got federal immunity.
The other tasks we have set.
Fucking bastard.
with all of the hostages returned, the next phase is expected.
That's fucking putting murderers on the street. Like,
Yeah, and they're still working on it.
giving
Like they should be,
them,
they
like,
should be shut down until the investigation. You know,
It's like a purge.
kind of.
It's starting to turn into like a purge.
Man,
It's fucked up.
it's totally fucked up. It's just wrong.
And then they have the nerve to try, after what's said and done and people are buried and the family is mourning still and stuff, to try to make their character bad.
Yeah,
The
after
victim-
shooting him in the back or shooting him
Yeah.
in the face.
Yeah,
Sick.
trying to make them look bad, like they have some criminal record of some sort or whatever. It doesn't matter even if they did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I almost punched Robbie when Robbie, I don't know if you remember this, but when he was like about, what's his name, Floyd
Yeah.
in Minneapolis, remember?
Robbie.
Was it George Floyd?
Yeah.
He was like, well, he used to sell heroin. I was like, fuck, I want to punch.
They held signs saying "Liberty for the kids" in Spanish.
But it was alright.
He tried to visit the site last week, but
I
said
got
he was
over it fast.
illegally blocked. The Treasury
Yeah, well, felons, look at the president's a goddamn felon.
Hamilton after a massive tax leak that revealed
How the hell is he
details of
president?
wealthy
He's still got the felon mentality.
President Trump.
He's a criminal in the White House just trying to break. He doesn't want to follow rules. Felons cannot follow rules.
For leaking tax information to the New York Times and ProPublica. The Treasury Department
That's why they're felons.
the leak affected roughly 400
Because they didn't follow the rules.
Scott Bessent
And they never will.
failed to protect the sensitive
Never will.
30 contracts with the Treasury Department totaling around $21 million.
That's why you can't go in the army if you're a felon. That's why I don't get how fucking president the felony.
This afternoon, Mr. Trump said South Korea's
Yeah,
I'm running this fucking country with that.
deal with the United States. As such,
Couple few years back,
Korean tariffs on
I could honestly say I'd wake up and be like, how many felons can I commit today?
It's not clear when the hikes
And it would always be at least one.
framework
You know?
last year, but
You don't think about it, but we do it all the time. Not
That's what
anymore.
fucking Trump's doing. Committing felons
Yeah.
in the White House through not obeying. It's like that. I mean, that's his mentality.
now recovered from its losses.
Psycho or something.
And one
Fucked
of
up.
the driving forces behind the
It is fucked up.
eradication of smallpox, Dr. William Fagin has
I
died.
can't believe they make
As a young
Smarties that size,
veterinarian in
babe.
Nigeria, Fagin
Yeah, it
developed
tastes exactly the same. Wow.
strategy that helped publish content
These ones are more like sweet tarts.
went on to lead the CDC
Yeah.
in the 1970s and 80s, where he helped guide the nation's early response to the AIDS epidemic. Standing 6'7", Fagin was a towering figure in his field in more ways than one, receiving the Medal of Freedom in 2012, the nation's highest civilian honor. William Fagin died over the weekend at his home in Atlanta. He was 89 years old. Still to come on the News Hour, Tamara Keefe and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And the News Hour's Settle In podcast provides advice for keeping a sense of purpose during an onslaught of news.
News out from the David M. Rubenstein studio
Well,
at WPTA in Washington.
What?
Reporters of PBS News.
I don't know, I'll just talk to you later about whatever.
It is shaping up to be a consequential week in the nation's capital.
About, you know.
Emerge inside the Republican Party over the Trump administration's
30 grand.
of its immigration
Nothing like that. I wish that was true, babe.
Joined tonight by our Politics Monday team. That's Amy Walter of the Cook Political Report with Amy Walter and Tamara Keaton of NPR. It's good to see you both. So Amy, we're talking about this defiant Trump White House. The White House is not immune to sustained public pressure. What does the latest polling show about how the American public broadly views its immigration approach?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Jeff. At the beginning of
I think
President
by
Trump's
tomorrow,
term, approval rating of
Shawnee May
handling
won't go to
immigration
school
was
because
higher
she's
than
went
his
to school
overall handling of the job that he was
for the
doing.
last
Now, as both of
2
those
days
have come
that there
down
was
over the
school.
course of his
I mean,
presidency,
no, there's
still, for much of the
vacation
year,
and
immigration
there's no
has
school
been
Friday.
and it's not
But
just
she went to
because of
school
what we've seen in
Thursday
Minnesota. We've started to see
and today,
this dip
so
really
she's
going
gonna want
back,
tomorrow off.
You think so?
earlier than this, where
Let's hope
opinions
not.
about how Trump's handling immigration
For her own sake.
matching his
I kind of hope so, just so I can make some more money. And like, I don't know if it would matter or not, but
immigration is no longer about immigration. It's no longer about the border. It's not even about
I mean, I don't want
this
to.
conversation about
I'm
what
just saying,
we
I
should
don't
and
know.
how we should be handling the things that we normally talk about, like path to citizenship or DACA. Instead, what we're talking about are very specifically the way that agents, whose job it is to apprehend these folks, the ICE agents, are treating communities, and in the case of Minnesota, these two individuals who were shot by these agents.
And Tam, you heard Senator Smith describe this as a coalition of horrified Democrats and Republicans who take issue with the way that the Trump administration is executing its immigration priorities here. I mean, could this be one of the moments where voters who backed Trump on immigration begin to recoil from the methods, even if they still support the end goal?
I think that we are starting to see that. NPR had a focus group that we sat in on conducted by Engages, and they were talking specifically to people who voted for President Biden and then voted for President Trump in 2024. And about a third of them raised their hand and said they thought that ICE was going too far. These were Trump voters who said that ICE was going too far. And I think that the surest sign that the politics on this are not the best is President Trump himself. The fact that he is trying to distance himself from what happened in Minnesota, the fact that he and his chief spokesperson are distancing him from the statements of Christine.
so that bullet candy looks what, all red or all green?
His deputy chief of staff. The fact that they are putting some
Green.
separation there is an indication of a real shift and an indication that President Trump realizes this may not be a political winner.
Like, what are-
previously said
what?
here that the Trump administration
Like
has
it-
one speed, and it is to fight. Well,
They're the same.
they just suddenly discovered
They're
a
both
different
green?
gear.
Yeah.
They're in reverse. They are looking
One's
for
red
an
and one's
exit
green.
strategy from the
I have red, green,
heightened
colorblind.
rhetoric,
I know.
and just really heightened.
I was testing it, babe.
And Amy, one of the Republican
Not that I didn't believe you, but I just wanted to see what it's like.
Chris Maddow
It's like I never really could tell
ICE has gone
that
too
this
far.
isn't the same color as that.
Republicans are pursuing retribution
The
against
wings,
state's
they're always,
They
they're the
look the same
same.
color.
GOP
Yeah.
candidates
And you told me they're, one's red and one's green.
These are gold and that's red.
Yeah,
The
fact
wings
that
are
we
gold.
also had a lot of
Yeah, I can't tell the
Republicans
difference.
across country take to social media over the weekend to say, again, the opposite of what the
It all
Secretary of
goes
Homeland
down the
Security
same,
was
babe.
saying, the opposite of what the administration were saying. They came out
Yeah.
openly and said, don't like what we're seeing here. This is a tragedy, and that there's.
When I was at Quick Trip, that gift card, I was like, I know they have, I went to the, they got that one cooler. They don't have a whole lot of beer in the cases, but they have that beer room. I didn't see the big one, the 25-ounce hurricanes.
Okay, yeah.
Usually they had them
That's why.
and everything else but that. I was like, fuck.
A few minutes ago, made a really good.
I'm struck out. And I was like trying to figure out what to buy otherwise,
What that line is
So I was like, well, I'm just gonna go and look and see what they got in the beer walk-in
Should have got
thing.
some Steel Reserves.
They had those. But
I'm
no,
just kidding.
I wouldn't even buy those. Fuck those things.
Right.
Yeah. They had those. Anyway, so I walked into the walk-in part. I started looking around, and all of a sudden I looked up, kind of in the back, there was 4 packs of these 16-ounce hurricanes. I was like, yes. And they were like $3.69 or something, $3.59, 4 pack. So
Nice.
I grabbed 4 of them. Almost cleaned them out.
They used to not sell these.
I was surprised to see the 4 packs. I know there was just always the big ones, 25 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I was
the issue
like
that
elated,
Democrats
man.
have is that
I
Republicans
saw
have been
the
able
4
to
packs.
own
bet.
the Constitution. They have won many and many
And I grabbed
the
like
Democratic president
1 at first,
campaigning
and
on
I was like, fuck
immigration,
this. I
talking
grabbed 4 of
about
them.
the
I was
border.
like, oh, it's fine.
But as Amy mentioned
It's
before,
$15.
this is different. This is Americans in American cities being killed by immigration agents. So if Democrats are able to keep it focused on that and not talk about open borders or, eliminate ICE, which had been something that they had campaigned on before, and then that was sort of thrown in their faces. There is a careful balance here, but the fact that these videos exist, the fact that people, like everyone is seeing these videos, really makes this a visceral issue for a lot of voters.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and that's why, again, you look at this New York Times poll that came out last week. This again before what happened this weekend. Came out last week. Do you support Trump's deportation of immigrants living here illegally? 50% of Americans say yes, they do. But then you ask the question: Do you approve of how ICE is handling its job? Only 36% approve of it. So the issue isn't that people are saying we should not be deporting people who are here illegally. What they are disagreeing with is the way that ICE is handling it. And that, again, if we had a Congress that was working together, that is the sweet spot there. Fix the problem with the enforcement. That's where the crux of the matter sits.
Walter and Tamara Keith, thanks to you as always.
Son of a bitch.
We turn now to our PBS News podcast, Settle In. In the latest episode, we explore what's caused a loss of trust in institutions, what the Trump administration has revealed about the way power works in this country, and how to find hope during the onslaught of difficult daily news.
I recently spoke about all of this with University of North Carolina professor and New York Times columnist Tressie McMillan-Cotton. How much of our political dysfunction is actually an attention problem? And how much has the media economy reshaped what kinds of stories and people get rewarded?
Yeah, I think there is something to the fact that obviously our attention has been monetized in a way that's really antithetical to how like human curiosity has worked for millennia. But I do think we overstate that fact because it kind of sounds like we start talking about, so many things are competing for our attention. So we just can't capture people long enough to tell them what matters, right? And to move them politically. I think it's a bit of a cop-out, right? It is true that it is hard to compete with TikTok, and it is difficult to compete with memes, and it is absolutely true that the media ecosystem now rewards the production of cheap, emotion-driven content over meaningful information and news. But it is also the case that that is not naturally occurring. That, too, was a political choice. It is a political choice not to regulate technology companies. It was a political choice. I would point out that both the Democrats and the Republicans have had an opportunity to do and have failed to do so. No one has shown a political appetite, real strong political appetite, for regulating technology companies, because at the root of that is what I would argue is the real problem, which is extreme wealth inequality and the extent to which money has infiltrated our systems of government certainly campaign financing. And so we have been willing to cede our attention in the name of money, but that was a political choice. And now we find ourselves reckoning with the fact that attention cannot be captured long enough to tell people the truth, the objective truth about what is happening to them. But that is, again, a lesson about what happens when one side has more power than the other. I don't think that is a foregone conclusion, however. It is absolutely a political choice to say that our media ecosystem needs to have a civic core to it, right? It is not a foregone conclusion that we all need to just accept artificial intelligence is here and we need to turn over our privacy and our citizenship rights to it. Those are choices. And I think that when we focus too much on whether or not people spend too much time on TikTok, it lets a lot of political actors off the hook.
Amid this sense of exhaustion, what does renewal look like when it's not that people are apathetic, it's just that people are tired, they're worn out?
Yeah, there is a lot of exhaustion. I would argue, though, that much in the way that we sort of have misconstrued the idea of taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other as, self-care, solve your problems with a bubble bath. We kind of have that problem writ large with politics, right? That if you are exhausted and overwhelmed by the onslaught of negative news, that you sort of need to retreat, right? And you need to withdraw. When in fact, everything from research to history to art will tell you is the exact opposite. That sometimes we aren't exhausted because we are aware of too much. We are exhausted because we are doing too little. The antidote, I think, to political exhaustion, the type that we are talking about, is that we are getting so much passive information and we have so few opportunities to act. We are tired then, not from doing too much, but from doing too little. People who feel agentic aren't as tired. They are not as easily overwhelmed. So if you are exhausted by the onslaught of bad news, go to a protest. If you are exhausted by social policy that is demonizing children, start teaching children how to read. The more time you spend doing something, whatever it is possible for you to do in your space in the world, the less exhausted you are by the onslaught of information that really wins when it can convince you that the only thing you can do is watch what is happening to you.
And you can find that full conversation and all episodes of Settle In for PBS News on our YouTube page and wherever you get your podcasts.
And that is the News Hour for tonight. I'm Monica Vaz.
I'm Jeff Bennett. For all of us here at the News Hour, thanks for spending part of your evening with us.
The West and the Gulf Coast. Aboard our fleet of small cruise ships, travelers can explore the historic.
Hi. And a federal judge is deciding whether the immigration crackdown can continue. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro begins our coverage with the latest from Minneapolis.
On a frigid morning in South Minneapolis, another makeshift memorial grew larger today for another U.S. citizen killed at the hands of federal agents. For residents showing up to honor Alex Pretty, mixture of sadness, anger, and exhaustion. Rose Seeley lives just steps from the site of Saturday's shooting.
I was like really right there at the end of the corner. I was walking towards this way, and I heard the gunshots, and I just started running. I just hope we can all get together and have an understanding and stop this. This is very terrifying, and it's not good. I pray every day for us all.
Emily and Brandon Deltel drove in from neighboring St. Louis Park.
We woke up, got our kid to school, and we were paralyzed. Don't know how to take the grief that we're dealing with right now.
I drove into work, got in there, and I realized I couldn't be there today. Yeah, nothing feels real, so I need to prove to my body that this is real, so I need to come here, even though it's really hard.
but by mid-morning came the first hint of some conciliation. President Trump, in a Truth Social post, wrote, Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. The president also said he was sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. In a statement shortly after, Governor Walz said he had a, quote, productive call with President Trump, writing, the president agreed that he would talk to his Department of Homeland Security about ensuring the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation. He also said the president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and to coordinate with state officials. In an interview with Minnesota Public Radio this afternoon, Walz was asked about reports that Border Patrol Commander Greg Rubino would be leaving the state tomorrow.
That is really good news, and I will acknowledge it here. That is the president following through, apparently, with our conversation.
It comes after Pretty, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, was killed by ICE agents during a scuffle that was captured on
Fucking
video.
shot him in the back. That fucker's gotta go to prison. Just like Chauvin, man. Same with the dude that shot Fernandez.
Oh, I can't believe they just showed
This looks
that.
like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to
And
kill
this
law
fucking lady.
Hours after the killing, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called Pretty, quote, a would-be assassin in a social media post.
Christ. They were pushing that lady around.
Paint a different picture. A frame-by-frame analysis of the video by the New York Times and several other news organizations shows Pretty holding a phone, not a gun. And they show agents removing the gun from his hip 1 second before the first shots were fired.
You don't have to choose between your First and Second Amendment rights.
So people that pull those triggers ought to go to prison and they gotta be checked out and they gotta be fucking fired.
They know that they're fucking protected somehow.
They're just punks with.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they're just
Disheartened by the
Because they know they
sick.
can get away with it.
Sick killers. They're fucking
They are killers, babe. Oh, it's so scary.
murderers and they ought to go down.
And they're just trigger happy motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Bad.
They don't know what they're doing. And they're wussies.
They're pussies. They can't fucking fight. If they have to, they gotta fucking shoot somebody. They can't do their job.
Back up magazines, and you have a right to carry out protests.
It's all sparked a political firestorm. Numerous Republican politicians criticized
Fucking brainwashed.
control operation.
Fucking assholes.
In a social media post over the weekend, Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy
Like, why do they get to fucking shoot?
But
Fucking
there's
tear
somebody-
gas.
Somebody who's
We
crazy.
should be able to have tear gas too and shoot it back.
I'm surprised the crazy person hasn't fucking got back at him.
Oh, I know. It seems like
It's just a matter of time.
it could be. I hope it doesn't happen. But that's just becoming like them, though. You know?
Yeah.
And you don't. Can't do that. Then it's war. Civil war after that. And
the state's Department of Public Safety said officials were encircling the room for arrests when federal agents showed up unannounced and deployed chemical relatives. All this as friends and colleagues mourn and remember.
And who's the fucking cop? And where's the phone that the dude was Alex Pretty's phone? What does it show on his phone? You know, we haven't seen any of that stuff, even if it was recording.
It takes a couple days, babe.
Yeah, but who took the phone? Who has it?
Right?
Who has that evidence? Who has that shit?
It boggles the mind that it is contrary to everything that I've known for years.
Pretty